So Phil, you're saying how Gopher came about. How did it come about?
It came about with a friend who actually approached me and said, I know you've always wanted to mass manufacture trains, and I was a kit manufacturer for about 20 years before that in model trains.
Right.
I'm also a plastic modeler, by the way, so don't hold that against me being just trains. But anyway, and he approached me, and next thing I knew, I was manufacturing model trains.
Oh.
And we've been going since 2011 as Gopher Models. The other friend who came to see me, we're actually Victorian Models, which manufactures HO Australian.
Yeah.
And we've been going since 2007.
Yeah. So Victorian and Gopher Models, you're friends. One does HO and one does N scale.
Yes.
And all Australian outline machinery.
Absolutely. It is now. Victorian used to do English outline of some things, but we've crossed over to the dark side and doing Australian because we love it.
And we're thankful that you do.
We're thankful that you do, because it's really good to actually have an Australian company doing Australian stuff. And funnily enough, a bit of Victorian stuff.
Absolutely.
You know?
And South Australian and New South Wales.
Oh, don't worry about them. Don't worry about them.
Yeah.
All right. So why are you here today? What have you got for us? You got the latest releases from Gopher.
Yes, the latest releases are a rerun of the B class. Now,
Shall we go to the top camera?
yeah,
Yeah.
Let me just get this focused.
I'll just get this out of the box. They're packed rather well, and
I love the I love watching experts handle these trains, because they really scare me. Phil.
why?
They just do. I'm scared of. I'm not a train modeler,
I am trying to focus. Oh, here we go.
There we are.
and
There
the
we
very fact that you designed the loco and the box knows you know exactly how to handle it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. When we did these, I was very hesitant at the beginning to know, could I sell enough of them to be able to do a second run?
Yes.
There was never any intention initially of doing a second run. And this is our second run. And on the second run, we've changed the colour scheme to the V-line, which came in the, I'm not sure the exact date, but it was around the end of the 70s.
Yep.
And what we've done is we've done the V-line colour scheme,
And it's a B class.
B class, and is still running around in other colour schemes at this time.
And I love the very fact that you've got a matte finish on there, a satin finish. It's
Absolutely.
really nice, and the gloss against the handrails and the windows and the other finishes make it look really, really classy.
What about the wipers?
Yeah.
The wipers look really fine.
Jesus, they must have tiny hands.
And lots of, yeah, they have. All the
Lots of
women on the
tweezers.
production line when I was up there are about this tall, and I'm not very tall at all.
Really?
And they've got little fingers, but they're a great bunch of people up there.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So what are some of the features? These have working lights.
they have working lights, working marker lights, working number boards.
Oh,
The number boards are just below the marker light, so I can't point because my fingers are too fat. But we'll try and get it. There we are. So the number boards, the marker lights, and the headlight,
yes.
they're all lit.
Right.
And one of the other features is in the old B class, what we did is we had to solder the DCC chip in. And the DCC, for those who don't know, is digital command control for model trains, so you can drive them like the real thing out there on the track. And we had to solder it in because there wasn't a chip that was small enough to fit into this loco where I wanted it to go without soldering it in. So now we've put a 6-pin plug because they're now small enough.
Right.
The chips are only 5mm by 5mm.
These are easy to get into.
Yes. I'll show you something with it.
Right.
One of the things my frustration with a lot of manufacturers is they don't make it easy for the person to maintain them. So,
Oh, you just broke it.
I'm scared.
no, I didn't break it. You just pull it by the center axle
Right.
and just pull it out.
That's simple.
Stop it.
Yeah. And then the fuel tank it clips off, and sometimes it can be. There we are, and
Oh, it's
that's
just
where
there.
you put the chip. So one of the differences. Sorry,
That's
I'm
right.
looking at the camera.
Oh,
One
my
of the
gosh.
differences in my models to the others is you've got to pull them apart to put your DCC chip in them.
Yep.
Yes.
In these ones, you don't. You just have to pull the fuel tank off. You want to maintain the bogie. You just pull the bogie out as I showed you, and I'll show you how to clip it back in.
It really is plug and play.
Well, aren't you
It
clever?
really is.
I had no idea.
So,
You've given away the secrets now.
Oh,
Oh, look at that,
sorry.
you
Have
see,
you?
you see the worm drives in there.
Yeah,
So you just press it in and just all...
yeah. I'll show
Not
you how to
worms.
put it in because
Wow.
you just can't force it in.
Oh, okay.
The reason
This is gonna be the masterful
because of the worm and the gear in this red gear.
Yes.
You've got, when you put it in, you just place it in there and you rock the wheels backwards and forwards
Until it meshes?
until it meshes,
Ah.
and then just push, and you'll feel it clip in
Right.
just like that. There is only one way to put these on, and it's just, you can tell by the little indent in there and where
Oh, so the matching
they
lug.
match.
Okay.
Just push it on, ready to go.
Well, that's faster than F1 fuel stop. Well, I had no idea. I had no idea.
The only-
That's why we had Phil come in today.
That's right.
I would never have done that.
No, I would have been too scared.
I would have been crying in the corner.
Everybody's scared, and I say keep pulling, and if you
Oh,
do
there
break
you go.
it, I fix it for you anyway.
Right.
But it's impossible to break it unless you are very ham-fisted.
Don't tell me
So
that.
the only one that's different is the 48 class,
48.
which is a New South Wales locomotive. And because the fuel tank is too small to put a chip in it, the chip is located under here. So you have to take the body off and just put the
And to
chip
take
in.
the body off this one, is it screws?
No,
Oh.
there is not one screw in any of these locomotives.
Oh, so you got another trick. You got
Yeah.
another trick up your sleeve?
Here we go.
All right.
Tricks
All
with
right.
Phil. How
So
to
as you see, comes
Was that
out
the same way?
same way,
Same way? All right.
and it's got 3 clips on it. There's one there.
Yes.
So if we can get a close-up of that.
Let's get in here. Right. Oh, a bit closer
Right.
forward. Up
Forward.
to... There we go.
There we are. So there's 2 clips there.
Yep.
And there's one on top of the body that holds the 2 chassis halves together. But to take the chassis out,
Yes.
you just slip a screwdriver in that side, lift.
Yep.
And if it doesn't pop out, you put it back in here, lift, and it'll just, the whole chassis will pop out. And that's it.
Okay.
So
So
you
it's
don't-
a similar thing on the top, is it?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
a 6-pin plug just under here.
All right.
And we've done it so it's easy to maintain for you guys out there in model land.
How good is that?
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Is service and maintenance and having the, and that's why your trains run so well, because they're so serviceable.
Yeah, and they're a very simple design. And we've had this model, the 48 class, running around since 2011, and we still have only had about 3 failures in all of that time.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
So, and we've got a very, very low failure rate as far as when it comes out of the box as well. I'm confident to send the model out to the customer and it will run.
Well, you have to be, I suppose, don't you? And they're got quite a bit of weight to them too.
Mm.
Like they're not just.
That's a die-cast chassis, isn't it? Inside.
Yes, die cast.
And what's this one here?
That one's South Australia utilised the 48 class called the 830 class. The reason the bogey's a little bit brighter than the paint on the side is that they're injection moulded
Of
in
course.
that colour. But they're very easy to weather. Just get a wash and put it on it and it brings it right back nicely to what it actually looks like in real life.
Right. Well, anyone who's had one of your locos before know how smooth these run. They're renowned for working like a Swiss watch.
And inside the one here that I opened, Phil, there's a load of, there's like a sticker sheet. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. The difference between the way I do things as a modeler is I might want to do a specific locomotive. Up in the factory, if I do 280 of these, they'll only do 3 numbers for me.
Yep.
Whereas you might have your favourite loco, DJ might have his favourite loco, and I've got mine. That gives me the 3 of them. But if there's more than us three in the club, we all can't have different numbers, and this gives the opportunity for people to choose the number they want.
There's plenty of options there, aren't there?
Yeah.
So, as an indicator, how many different numbers have you got on there? Do you know off the top of your head?
On this particular one, this is for this particular locomotive, which is the New South Wales one. There's a now I've got to think.
I'm testing you now. Sorry.
You are testing me. There's 80 numbers, I think.
80. Well, there's a lot. I would have said there's
85.
a lot.
85 numbers there are that you can choose from. So.
And what other goodies have we got here in the collection? What's this SSR thing? I like this.
SSR is a private company that buys a whole lot of locomotives second-hand, and they paint them up in all these wonderful colour schemes. And look at him.
It's like a chimp. It's just interesting to what.
Yeah.
So I'm going to break it, Phil.
Okay.
Save me the
What you
embarrassment.
do is you just go like that until it comes out that far.
I'm just about to flick it on the floor, and
Watch it bounce into a million bits.
but that's okay. We haven't paid the invoice
I
yet.
have all the spare parts. That's another thing that I specialise in. I've got the spare parts for all of my locomotives, so they can be repaired if you do drop them or whatever. So that's the SSR colour scheme. Stands for Southern Short Haul Railroad.
It's stunning, isn't it?
Looks fast. Looks like my kind of loco.
Yep.
Richmond colours.
Oh, yeah, you put me off now.
I better not say
Yeah.
something then.
What have we got there?
This is Pacific National. Now, a lot of these 48s actually came down in 830 classes. 830 being the South Australian green, pardon me, the green one there.
Mm-hmm.
And Pacific
Oh,
National.
look at this.
They actually came down here into Victoria and went into South Australia. So all of these actually you can have running around on your layout.
Right.
Yeah, this was,
I like all the rails on it.
yeah. What was important was to make sure they were accurate. So this is the Pacific, the mustard pot, what we call the mustard pot, which is South Australian Railways.
Mustard pot.
Yep.
Pop that one over here.
What does that mean?
Mustard pot is just the colour scheme,
Oh, okay.
being mustard, and
Pot.
so it got the nickname mustard pot. And this other one that you bring over here is a GM. So there was 3 different marks of this. I've done the middle mark, which was the greatest number of them. And just to put that there. And then because they had 2 different lettering on the side, I put a decal in for that too. So you could have this as Commonwealth Railways or Australian National Railways.
What do you call these little couplers which look like miniature KDs? Are they KDs?
They're microtrains.
Microtrains, okay.
So Microtrains is an American manufacturer of couplers,
Right.
and we put them in all of our models. Originally, I had what was called the repeater, which was the ugly big thing,
Right, yes.
which was still put in the box for the 48, which, if I may show you here,
Oh, so it's still
is
there, right?
And they've got a NEM coupler on it, so you just take that out, you press the little clip into the bogie,
Right,
which, if you ever need any instruction on it, it's all in underneath,
okay.
and you can backdate it to repeater couplers.
Okay. But the couplers that are on it are really nice.
They are.
I hope you know which stickers go with which trains, because
I do.
I've got
You've
stickers.
opened
and-
everything, haven't you?
Well,
So this next one, that's the New South Wales 125th anniversary scheme.
Oh, wow.
And then we've got the New South Wales, I'll just push this up a little
Yes.
bit, bicentennial scheme.
Oh, I like that one.
So the 200 in 1988, there was several locos painted in that colour, and that was the only one in New South Wales that was painted, 48 class that was painted.
Mm.
So it actually has its number on it, the same with the 125th. There was only one in that colour scheme, so the number's actually on the loco.
Okay.
I was having such a good run, Phil.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're making a cocktail.
The factory does that, so it, especially for you,
I know.
confuse you.
Well, he's
We're having a
definitely
battle now.
confused.
We're having
We're
a
having
battle now.
now.
Got a battle on our hands.
This is another private railroad. It was called West Coast Rail, and they bought three.
Oh, look at that! We nearly had one.
They
Nearly
bought
got away from you there, Phil.
It did, but it didn't, did it?
No, it didn't. You saved it.
3 B classes.
Well, I like
we
that
did
too.
B61. That ran from here in Melbourne out to Warrnambool.
Oh, so it's a Melbourne train.
That's a Melbourne train that went out to Warrnambool, and that was where West Coast Rail operated. So there was 2 locos in that. There was actually 3 locos that West Coast Rail had. One of them didn't have the white and the yellow on it like that.
But
But
you've gone
in
the
this
extra
case-
little bit, and you've put the decals in there, haven't you?
The research that I did didn't tell me that there was a number B76 in that colour scheme. So I
Ah,
made the decals so you can actually have 2 of them and put the decal over the decals that are on the side of
Are
that.
they water slide decals?
Yes, they're all water slide decals.
so that just goes over this number right there.
Yes, goes over that number, and then it's got the other, and you get extra ones just in case you mess one up.
Right. Okay.
You've sort of made every step, haven't you?
Oh, I tried to.
Well, I've got my favourite. I like the orange one.
You like the orange one?
Yep,
So you've
Which orange
already
one?
sold one.
that's right.
Yeah, haven't I?
Yeah.
I like this one. I like the 200 one.
Do you?
Bicentennial.
No, it's New South Wales.
Yeah, but
Alright.
what about?
But beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, that's my
So-
pick. 48 class.
So Ixion model railways should have their new locomotive, which we've announced, which is the Victorian A2 in HO. Should be here according to the factory, and we know what their timelines are like. Should be here early next year, first quarter.
Wow, that's exciting. That's not that far away. What are you doing? You're breaking it.
Yeah.
And I can't say what they are, but there's secret projects that you might be able to get later on in the year from Gopher Models.
That's exciting too.
That's just to whet your appetite.
Yes. Always new stuff coming.
Yep.
Look at this guy.
Broken it now.
You're like,
He's got to buy it now.
well, yeah, that's right. You're taking
I
that
just
home
didn't
with you.
believe that it was so easy without breaking it, because I would never handle a train like that. It's all die cast in there.
Yes.
Yep.
How good is it?
That's where the girth comes from.
So remember, do the roly-poly?
Yep. You have to do the little.
If you
Yeah,
ever want to
expert.
take the body off on the B classes, you do have to take the couplers out.
Right.
In the same with these ones, that's the only extra you've got to do.
Okay. Well, it's still very easy access, isn't it?
And on the GM, which is a single-ended, what we call a bulldog, you've only got to take out the front coupler.
Okay.
The rear coupler doesn't have to be taken off.
Definitely
It's all apart.
clicks together a lot easier than it comes apart.
Right.
No,
That's
war-
really clever.
no warranties on that. I'm not.
Had no idea. No, there's no warranty on that one. That one's yours.
That is fantastic.
That's amazing, Phil. We've actually learned a lot. Even though we've had these before, we didn't know all this, did we?
We didn't know any of it.
No. But we're really confident now. We can pull them apart like all day, every day.
Really, nearly.
That's right.
Yep, and I've never had one of those clips that hold the bogies in fail, but I do have spares if we ever need them.
Right.
Where did the gopher come from, Phil?
The Gopher came from when I started manufacturing
Have a look
kits.
at the box there.
When I started manufacturing kits, I wanted to call it Gopher Models, and a mate of mine said, "Why don't you call it Badger Bits?" And that's it. Badger
There we
Bits,
go.
kits and bits.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's why I called it
Go
Badger
the
Bits.
front
And my
one, babe.
wife, one of the few times she got angry at me.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when I went to do this mass produced, I had to call it something different. And she said, "You're not starting it unless it's called Gopher Models."
There you go.
So I got outvoted 1-1.
Yes. Well, sometimes you need that sort of guidance,
Well,
don't you?
You do.
Best you just do what you're told
And
sometimes. Just do what you're told.
She loved it because it was go for it.
Go for it.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Very nice. Well, you definitely produce some exceptional models.
I'm so
And some
proud
of
that
these
we've got
new
an
ones.
Australian manufacturer in store with us showing his wares. That is fantastic.